Hey folks, it has been a minute since I did my last deck study. Just no particular reason, just waiting for new stuff to come in, but I do have the brand new Guy Hollingworth monogram in the Burgundy edition to show you guys today. Really excited about this deck. It just came out this week. It's brand new, and it's a really cool deck, and we'll get into some of the details here in a little bit. But this little background first, obviously, this is version 2 of the Guy Hollingworth decks. Dan and Dave put out a emerald green, I guess it's emerald, or actually it was a little lighter green. It wasn't emerald green, but it was a green version last year with collaboration, obviously, from Guy Hollingworth, and they had a whole box set with DVDs and some other things in a box set, and that was the only way you could get the green version, was through the big Guy Hollingworth set, which, like I said, it had like 3 DVDs in it, some books, and the deck. I think you got 2 decks of cards. So it was a limited edition. They never actually had it for sale and individually ever. So and that package was like $159 or something like that. Art of Play just ran, they got a small amount of decks in the green version a couple months ago, and they sold out in I think about 20 minutes. So that version is very hard to get. They were giving it away with a brick of these just here recently, which I didn't get. I only got a few of the Burgundy edition, just one for the collection, and then obviously one to show off here. But very nice deck, very elegant. There's obviously a big hint of elegance and a little touch of modern in this deck too. So it's obviously called the monogram, and as you can see, what the monogram is initials of your name. So you got the GH, G on here, which what this is obviously it's double-sided, so that is an ambigram, which is reading the same thing up frontwards and backwards, is what that is. So very cool logo and design. You can see the gold foil. It's slightly embossed, very slightly, but definitely very cool. And like you said, very elegant, modern style for the box. And you can see the deep burgundy color, which you'll see on the cards as well. So very cool, very nice box. And you can see there Guy Hollingworth on there. Back, bottom legalese, obviously produced by Dan and Dave, and you can see that right there. The other side, playing cards, and the top, again, the monogram logo with the gold. And on the back, it's the back design of the deck. Obviously the box has got the gold foil, and again, very slightly embossed. Not a ton, but it's slightly enough so you can definitely feel a texture on it. There's, you can see that. Not a whole lot going on with this, but I like that kind of modern style that kind of Daniel Madison has brought back to the forefront here with the boxes and cards. So very cool, very elegant. Dan and Dave do an awesome job with projects like this. So you expect nothing but the best from them, obviously. So let's take a look at the cards, and we'll talk about kind of the handling and the feel and things like that here in a little bit. No ad card, which is a bonus. You do get a couple bonus cards. First one being a double back. As you can see the back design there, just like from the back of the box. Obviously no embossing on the cards, but you still got the gold foil on the cards themselves. So you get a double backer. You also get a duplicate card, not a duplicate, a double back card, which is a king of clubs, king of spades, and on the reverse side, king of diamonds, king of hearts. So kind of a dual or quadruple threat there. And obviously, as you can see, which is on all the face cards, you've got the deep burgundy color, which I want to say it's kind of in between a rounders, not quite as dark as the kings deck, which had that really dark burgundy red, kind of almost like a Merlot red. This is a little lighter than that, but not a whole lot. It's still probably closer to the King's deck red than some of those other darker reds that we've seen here lately. And as you can see, it's got that nice sans serif font on there, which is very similar to the Republic number 2s, if you remember way back to those. Now these are larger indices than those, but still very modern looking, very cool, very well done as far as the design work with the font and the face cards. And you can see the gold again kind of shining on the card, which makes another nice little touch on there as well. So those are your bonus cards. You get 2 jokers, obviously. Very cool. They're the same. There is a reveal on both jokers, which is the magician palming the ace of spades in his hand as he's greeting the guest or the spectator in this case. And you've got that nice, again, that nice modern font right there on that as well. So those are very cool. I like them. Again, you can kind of see that striping there, which you can see again kind of throughout the theme of the deck as well. So you've got it on the sides and in the logo. You can see that striping here and here and on the sides as well. So very nice. Good jokers. Again, not my favorites, but definitely not the worst either. So well done there. Ace of spades. You've got again the monogram in the middle with the striping, and you've got the Hollingworth word on the bottom, and you can see again, you can see that kind of wide non-serifed font with the very small pips, which again is kind of reminiscent to the Republic number 2. They had the same kind of setup with that very fine thin kind of font and the small pips, which worked really well. As you can remember, I do believe that the Republic number 2s was the deck of the year in 2013. So very well done here. I like it a lot. The design work is superb. The cards themselves, let's take a look at some of them. I've actually already messed around with the deck, so it's out of new deck order. So but we'll take a look at some different cards as we go. And as you can see, if you have a deck of Republic number 2s, or if you can remember the deck study, very similar. Again, just looking at, thumbing through, you can see the font there. Actually, I'll try to turn them. I guess I can't turn them the other way, but you can see kind of, even though they're upside down for you, how modern looking that looks. Just in the aces themselves, and I'll pull out some other court cards too, so you can kind of see. Won't look at those, just look at these. You can see there, again, well done, that dark red. You can see again, it's a Queen of Clubs, very nice. You can see the design work, the artwork, very, very nice, very nice. And you can see that how thin that is. It's compared to another one, another Queen. Very modern, again, very elegant and modern deck. And you can see the smaller pips. Again, not as small as Republic's, obviously much smaller than a normal bike deck or tally-ho. Any kind of standard deck of playing cards is going to be a lot different looking visually for you at first, but I really like it a lot. I like the variations in the fonts. Obviously, is one of my things that I talk about a lot is font work on some of these cards, how you want them a little custom. You don't want them looking the same as every other deck, but you don't want it so weird that it will create confusion, especially with a spectator if you're going to use a deck for tricks to the general public. And you can see again, very sharp. Everything's very sharp in this deck as well. Sharp lines, everything's spaced perfectly with these smaller pips, smaller indices. It just looks very elegant. Like I said, this deck is really, really well done. I love it. The only drawback to it that I don't like is the non-white border, obviously on the outside. Now visually, obviously it looks nice in a spread or in a fan. Performing is going to be a little more difficult without the white border on the outside with the big contrast. So for tricks, you know, like triumphs or sandwiches or, you know, anything with an Elmsley count, you know, your card spacing is going to have to be like super perfect, or else you're going to flash. The only downside to it, but the deck is really amazing. I mean, this isn't a deck I'd probably go out and perform with. I'd use something more standard, but collectors, this is a must. This deck is really awesome. As far as the handling goes, the card stock, it is super, super thin. It's probably the thinnest card I have. It reminds me of the Artifice decks, which are you know, usually a fairly thin card. Anything from Illusionist is pretty thin. The Fathoms, the Ignites are really thin. But this is even thinner than that. I mean, it feels like you're not even holding a full deck of cards. The card stock is so thin, but it glides super smooth. They're really smooth to thumb through, easy handling. I mean, fans are going to be, you know, perfect. Just because of the finish is super sweet. So, like I said, the only drawback is the non-border. I mean, they're just super slick. They're super slick. I love them. Great deck of playing cards. Definitely will be in the running at the end of the year for deck of the year, I would assume. You know, there's going to be a lot coming down the pike here soon. Again, I kind of want to apologize for taking so long to get a new deck study up, but again, I'm kind of straying away from showing older decks, and I just want to focus on new ones coming out, and more of the mainstream decks. There's obviously a lot of decks that get released, you know, through individual Kickstarters, or you know, I like to stick to more of the big three, the 311, the Illusionist, Dan and Dave, you know, larger decks like that. Like you said, some things coming down to the pike. I know Madison Presents is going to have the SWE deck coming out. I hope, from what he's teasing this week, or the expert at the card table deck, he's already shown some mock-ups of what that's going to look like. So it looks pretty cool, and I know the Madison Revolvers are coming. I heard somewhere that they're going to be in early July. I mean, they already are out there in people's hands, so the decks are already printed and made. It's just a matter of when he's going to release them to the public, because I have seen them, you know, on various sites, Instagram, you know, all over the internet. I've already seen them, so they've already been printed and released. I'm just waiting for them to come out. So those two decks are coming for sure. The Scarlet Tally-Hos from the King's Wild Project will be coming later in the fall. I've already got mine on order, so whenever that project is ready to be shipped, I'll have those. King's Wild Project has 2 new decks coming. The Wastelands are coming, and there's another one he's got in the works. I can't think of it off the top of my head. The Rangers. Texas Rangers or something along those lines. It looks pretty good too. And I'm sure it'll come to me here after I finish. But get back to this deck again. Definitely a pickup for collectors. I mean, again, you can perform with this, even though it doesn't have a white border on the front. I mean, don't be scared away from not performing with this deck. But the Guy Hollingworth Monogram Burgundy edition from Dan and Dave. 2 thumbs up for me, 9 out of 10. That 1 point being taken off for the border, but definitely a sweet, sweet deck. Check it out, and I will be back with you guys in probably 2 days, because starting July 1st is going to be the summer celebration deck giveaway, and I'll have details for you in a couple days. But until then, everybody, thanks again. Sorry it took so long to get a new study up. I hope you enjoy this deck. Let me know what you guys think, and we will see you out there. Thanks.